Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
The U.S. men's national team Gold Cup is coming in June 14th. June 14th to July 13th will be the. No, my bad. Not that's not what it is. When is wait? I didn't put the wrong dates. That was the dates for the Club World Cup. Let me see. June 14th to July 16th. No, June 4th. They kick off at the same time. All right, June 14th to July 16th will be the Gold Cup. And I'm going to do something interesting. I'm gonna try to pick who I think the U.S. men's national team should call up for the Gold Cup. I think the Gold Cup is you have to bring in your best. You have to bring in the guys your best available players. So I just think it makes the most sense. This is not only for the U.S. but for Mexico and Canada. This is the last competitive matches that they will be having before the FIFA World Cup. So this is essentially a dress rehearsal, if you will, for these three national teams that are having hosting duties. So they're automatically in. So this is, they don't have to go through qualifiers. So this is their best shot at seeing what they can do and figure out who is their team going into the 2026 World Cup. Now, I mentioned the FIFA Club World Cup is June 14th to July 13th, being that there's certain players that will not be available for the U.S. men's national team because of that tournament. The teams that I will say that to maybe keep an eye on that might have some American players that maybe gets featured, but that maybe would have gotten featured by the U.S. men's national team. Not saying that they would have, but I'm just saying that might have. But Inter Miami, obviously Benjamin Cramachi. The only reason why I mentioned him is because one, just depending on I think maybe he would have gotten a call up, had he been available. Maybe just depending on who was available personnel wise, but he does play like attacking mid, so I don't think that necessarily he would have got called up. But I do believe he was part of Camp Cupcake, so I just wanted to bring up that name just in case. Seattle Sounders, Jordan Morris, Jesus Ferreira, Christian Roldan. I don't think any of these guys were featured by Pochettino, but being once again, because just mentioning American players that maybe would have been called up. Borussia Dortmund has Gio Reyna. Gio Reyna is kind of an interesting situation that he might be looking for a new club in this summer. So Gio Reyna and then Cole Campbell. Do I expect him to get called up? No. But still had to mention him nonetheless. And then Juventus, who has Weston McKennie and Tim Weah. This is probably where we're kind of losing some guys that we would expect to be called up. Weston McKennie and Tim Weah are guys that are usually called up for the U.S. men's national team and has been called up by Pochettino. So we know for a fact that these guys are going to probably be playing for Juventus unless Weston McKennie or Tim Weah gets transferred. But I do feel like they're probably going to be at least part of the FIFA Club World Cup plans for Juventus. And a team that maybe might be getting in the Club World Cup, Club America. So if you guys remember, Club America and LAFC are going to play in a play-in game because Club Leon isn't getting invited. So Club America might be in it. I do feel confident saying that Club America will probably win that play-in game. And the player to note is Alex Sendejas, who has been doing very well this year with Club America, so deserves to get a shout, man. But all right, my predicted roster for the U.S. men's national team: 3 goalkeepers. I believe 26-man roster. So 26-man roster. I did count accordingly to make sure I did have a 26-man roster. Goalkeepers. Look, as I will predicate to this. I am saying Matt Turner is probably gonna get called up, but I do think that I wouldn't be surprised if Pochettino tells Matt Turner maybe, hey, don't worry, figure out your club situation because has played some matches for Crystal Palace, but hasn't played a lot of matches for Crystal Palace. He's currently on loan, so he'll be going back to Nottingham Forest, who did not play him, or really I don't think have any intentions of playing him. So he needs to either come back to MLS or go to a lower Eredivisie somewhere where you're going to play. Um, Go somewhere where you're guaranteed you're gonna play. That's really what Matt Turner's situation is because honestly, I feel like he's been losing stock for quite some time now, and it just doesn't help that that he's not playing. I think at this point, it doesn't matter where these goalkeepers play in, whether they play in MLS or they play for a club, just that they're playing, that they're actually getting starts. Like this is a position where you kind of want these guys to be very much locked in, and that's not going to happen if they're just riding the bench. So Matt Turner, I will predicate. I do expect him to be called up. But I would not be surprised if maybe he's like, can't make it, gotta figure out this whole club issue. Patrick Schulte from Columbus Crew, I just Pochettino has been calling him up, so I expect him to be called up. And Zach Steffen from the Colorado Rapids. I think these are just the guys that we're gonna see. Now, I wouldn't be against like if Matt Turner doesn't get called up, like I wouldn't mind to see a Matt Freese from New York City FC and even wouldn't be against seeing Diego Cochin get called up. Like he's probably not gonna play. And same thing for Matt Freese. He's probably not gonna play. I'll like if Matt Turner isn't getting called up, I can see Zach Steffen starting for the Gold Cup. Um, I think he's right now a little bit ahead of Patrick Schulte. I know some people are probably going to be like, "That's crazy talk," but I don't know. I think Zach Steffen still has experience nonetheless, and I think you know playing regularly for Colorado has given him some sort of advantage. Even though Patrick Schulte is also a very, they're not like far away from each other. I'm just going to point this out. But I've seen him choose Zach Steffen from more often than Patrick Schulte, so that's just kind of where I'm lying. So, but I do think it's gonna be Matt Turner, Patrick Schulte, and Zach Steffen. I would love to see Matt Freese from New York City FC, and I would not be against Diego Cochin just to be getting involved. This is gonna be a whole month long camp, so it would be good for him to build some camaraderie with the team. So I think that would be really good for him, as well. Defenders. So I actually have like three fullbacks, which is Anthony Robinson from Fulham, should be healthy and should be good to go. Sergio Dest should be very much good to go for this tournament from PSV, and Joe Scally from Borussia Mönchengladbach. The reason why I have three fullbacks on this one is because I think that the U.S. men's national team, especially, they have like a lot of guys that could play multiple positions. So I just you know I think three is fine for depth. If anything, you bring in you either use somebody else that can help and play. Uh, I expect these guys to be playing all the games anyways, unless they somehow win their first two group matches and the last group matches. Like, who cares? Just put out the reserves, just to rest some guys. But those are my fullbacks. At least who I'm expecting to see. Kevin Carter Vickers from Celtic, Chris Richards from Crystal Palace, Austin Trusted from Celtic, Noah Kai Banks from FC Augsburg, and Mark McKenzie from Toulouse. Noah Kai Banks, man, I think that it's just time for him to get a call up. He's been playing over at Augsburg, so I want to see a little bit more from him, see how he gels with the U.S. men's national team. Some guys that I wouldn't be against to see Caleb Wiley from Watford. I think let's just see what the kid can do. John Tolkien, um, like me and Jose talked about, man. The guy's a dog. He's douchey and he backs up what he talks about. I would love to, even though I know it didn't go as planned with Holstein Kiel, but I think if you want to add another fullback, you can add either Caleb Wiley or John Tolkien. Now Tim Ream probably makes some sense to bring in because I don't know about playing, but maybe and that's why I don't want to bring in the guy just for like locker room, to be the rah guy. Like I don't. That seems like a waste of a spot. So that's why I'm not putting Tim Ream, at least on my roster. But I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets. I just don't think he's part of the U.S. men's national team plans for 2026, or at least he shouldn't be part of their plans. And the last one is Nathaniel Brown. Nathaniel Brown, who is like they're still trying to figure out if he's going to play for Germany or he's going to play for the U.S. I think that this is if we can get a chance to lock him in, let's just take it. I think the kid could play. I mean, he's been playing for Eintracht Frankfurt. I mean, if Germany hasn't called him up yet, I just don't see it anytime soon. But yeah, like I bring in five center backs just you know because you never know. Especially if if there is one of those one-off times that you want to use a three in a back system, there's also that potential. So, but like I said, I think that that's where we are with defenders. Midfielders, we got Malik Tillman from PSV, Yunus Musa from AC Milan, Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis, Tyler Adams from Bournemouth, Brendan Aronson from Leeds United, Diego Luna from Real Salt Lake, Gianluca Busio from Venezia, and no, not and Tanner Tessman from Lyon, Paxton Anderson from Utrecht, and Giovanni Reyna from Borussia Dortmund. Now, I did say be mindful about Borussia Dortmund. I do think that he's probably not part of Borussia Dortmund's plans anymore. Um, should he be focusing on finding a new club? Probably, but if he wants to improve his stock, it's probably he's gonna have to play in this tournament, like show that he can still play. Um, it is a lot of midfielders. I get it, but they're guys that also could play other positions. Gio Reyna could play on the wing. Same thing goes with Paxton Aronson, Brendan Aronson, Diego Luna, Malik Tillman. So we have a good mixture of some defensive minded midfielders. Obviously, not having Weston McKennie kind of is hurts a little bit. Yunus Musa can also be used as a fullback as well. Um, Obviously, also Tyler Adams can play in the fullback position. But yeah, I think most of these guys are very versatile, so that's why you have like a little bit more players there. Also, I wouldn't be against Aiden Morris from Middlesbrough. I think I was very like contemplating versus him versus Tanner Tessman. But I think Tanner Tessman has been at least under the scope of Pochettino, so that's why I've kind of picked him over Aiden Morris. And then Brian Gutierrez, I think, could be another guy that can play that cam role, but can also play on the wings. I think that could be another shout. If Pochettino doesn't call up Gio Reyna, I think Gutierrez is the guy that Guti gets the call up over Reyna if Reyna doesn't call, but I do think we need to see something. I do want to see Paxton Aronson. I want to see him play. Um, and I think Brendan Aronson has earned a shot with the team, at least to show what he can do. I think with the fact that Tim Weah will not be definitely probably not be part of this tournament, that opens up an opportunity to show what he can do on the right side, and be a name factor for the U.S. men's national team. Forwards, Christian Pulisic from AC Milan. If he's not trained if he's not playing, he should be here with us. Some people are like, look, I get what Eric Ronaldo was saying about giving him a break, but no, this is not the time. It's not the time. We need these guys playing. We need everybody available. If you're available, you're playing. At least that's my mindset. F this. Oh, you're tired. Get a break. No, because guess what? In 2026, you're not getting that break either. So you know, if Christian Pulisic is going to back up all the things that he was saying, which was very monotonous, by the way, I need to see it. I need to see it here. Take it seriously and make me believe. Folarin Balogun, AS Monaco, Josh Sargent from Norwich, Haji Wright from Coventry City. They're healthy. They should be. They'll probably get called up. And I have Brian White from Vancouver Whitecaps, but I would probably look. I feel like you have to call Brian White. The way he's performing right now at MLS, granted it is MLS, but he's doing really well. And I think if you had to pick between him or Patrick Aguiman, I'd take Brian White. Even though and the reason why I say that now, as far as like size goes, you got Haji Wright. So and then Haji Wright can also play on the wing. I will also add though, Alexander Haas, if America isn't in the tournament, the kid needs a shout. He needs to be able to have an opportunity to be put out there. See what he can do. I just want to see it. I just need to see it at this point. it's make it or break it time for him, and I think that he's done a lot for Club America. So let's see what he can do for country. Um, but yeah, those are the guys that I would prefer to see out there. Like I said, I wouldn't be against Aiden Morris. I wouldn't be against Brian Gutierrez. Patrick Aguiman, I could see potentially, as Pochettino likes calling him up, I could see him there. I already said Alexandejas, Caleb Wiley, John Tolkien, Tim Ream, Nathaniel Brown, Matt Freese, Diego Cochin. Like, these are guys that I would love to see with the U.S. men's national team, but I just don't know if that's going to happen for them. But look, we need to take Gold Cup seriously. We need to put out our best possible players, for this. Because I'm telling you right now, Mexico's going to do it, and so is Canada. So, you know, this is the last competitive tournament that the U.S. is going to have before the World Cup, and it needs to be shown.
Who is that guy?